I want to talk about the major pentatonic scale, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 of the major scale. It's a great scale. Musicians love to use it. There's very few devices that carry as much weight as that pentatonic. That pentatonic can fit into so many different situations if you know how to work it. There are a lot of pentatonic scales, but the one that we're going to talk about is the major pentatonic on the C major scale. So we're talking about C, D, E, G, A. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. If you play the notes in almost any order, they all sound like they all belong with each other, which makes the pentatonic scale a great scale to get started with. I would suggest if you're just starting out, just grab a scale and just create on it. Just get used to it. Get used to where it sits on the instrument and noodle around. Noodling is important. I'm here with my friend Steve. Isn't that right, Steve?
That's right.
Noodling.
Gotta noodle.
You can't noodle enough. You want to just have fun. Look at these scales like they're toys, and you're playing with them. That's all. So I'm just going to noodle. No rules, no tempo, no style. Just almost like chimes in the wind, if they were all tuned to a pentatonic scale. It should sound okay. Okay, I'm just noodling around. Now, if I put a beat to it, or if I put some style to it or a concept, because in jazz, like 90%, we're not scientific with these percentages, but most of what we do is what we do with what we use, as opposed to what we use. So I'm going to use the pentatonic scale, but how do I play with it? How do I do things with it that all of a sudden have it make sense in a certain style? So if I think maybe some Afro-Cuban groove, boom, bim, boom, bim, boom, bum, ba, boom, bum, something like that, maybe here's the tempo. Now I'm going to think of that style and that tempo, and I'm going to do the same thing I did before with the pentatonic scale. I'm just going to make up melodies, right? 1, 2, just noodling around. So it all kind of makes sense. You don't hear any wrong notes because the pentatonic scale has that, it's almost like it has a built-in safety net. Great saxophone player, Jerry Bergonzi, talks about shapes, how important shapes are. In other words, the scale, if I just play it, up and down. All right, well, that's a shape. You go up and you go down. But if I can shape this, if I can actually give it a shape, then when I create my melodies, and if I create off the shape I drilled the scale on, all of a sudden my melodies have a whole other character. It's cool. So here you go. So here's shape number 1. I'm just going to go up every 4 notes of the scale and come down. All right, now I'm going to come down. So I just went up and down. That's a shape. I'm going up 4 notes and going up 4 notes again. But now what I do is I'm going to get that shape and I'm going to rhythmize it, meaning before when I was playing just with the scale, now I'm going to play with that shape. And let's say if I keep that same tempo going and I think that Afro-Cuban thing, I'm going to put the scale to that feel. Now I'm going to use that shape. I'm going to create from the shape. 2, 3, oh. Okay, so I'm just using that shape. And when you learn a shape on the scale, then you create from the shape, all of a sudden what you're doing has a different focus. It has a different gravity. When you play off a shape, it can really make melody stronger. Here's another shape. If I played every other note in the scale, right? Here's the scale. Now, if I play every other note of the scale, I get these big intervals. A lot of 4th intervals and a 3rd. Same scale, C pentatonic. I haven't played anything that isn't in the C pentatonic scale so far. Isn't that right? Have I gone?
Straight C.
Straight C. So now I'm going to improvise, and I'm going to use that shape. Okay? So check this out. Two, go. So what am I doing? I'm using a shape to play with. First I use a scale to play with, then I use that first shape to play with, then I use the second shape to play with. Now when I improvise, I could dip into all of that stuff. I could just play off the scale, or I could use any one of these different shapes. So here we go. I'm going to mix it all up. 2, 3, 4. Just mixing it up. So all I'm doing is playing with the scale like you play with a toy, but you have to drill it. You have to know the scale, and you have to drill it. So when you start to improvise, if you've never done this, this is a good way to get started because it gives you a strategy, and you're not just guessing. C pentatonic scale, just noodle on it at first, figure out where it fits on your instrument, how it feels, then just create on it. Don't even worry. No rules. Don't overthink it. Don't start getting involved in rules. You must do this. You must do that. Just have some fun with it.